think about it, Coutinho's career isn't some cautionary tale of wasted talent. It's more like a reminder that football, like life, isn't a straight line. We love to tell the stories about meteoric rises and fairy tale endings, but more often than not, the truth is messier. He didn't flame out because he wasn't good enough. He was more than good enough. For a while, he was completely unplayable against. But timing, circumstances, and that invisible thing called confidence, they can make or break even the most gifted players. I always think that people forget how much the environment matters. At Liverpool, Coutinho was adored. He was Klopp's centrepiece, free to play in that hybrid role, half winger and half playmaker, where he could drift inside, shoot from anywhere, and pull defenders out of position. Every time he scored one of those trademark curlers into the top corners, it felt inevitable. Klopp believed in him, the crowd believed in him, and his teammates trusted him. And he believed in himself more importantly. That kind of harmony is really rare for footballers. But then at Barca it was the opposite. The expectations were suffocating. They didn't just want him to replace Iniesta, they wanted him to do it while also filling the void Neymar left. And while playing in a system that didn't suit his strengths, every touch was analysed, every misplaced pass magnified. When the whistle started from the Camp Nou faithful, see it on his face. The second guessing, the weight of being the club's record signing. Like, it genuinely isn't a wonder how his confidence drained away. Then obviously he went on to Bayern Munich. You'd think that a move would be perfect. A team full of winners, a dominant force in Germany, and less of a media circus than in Spain. And for a while, Coutinho did show glimpses. He even scored twice against Barca in that infamous 8-2 demolition in the Champions League. But Bayern never saw him as a long-term piece of the puzzle. He was a luxury addition, a short-term loan to plug a gap. When his season there ended, they didn't take up the option to buy it. It felt like another almost chapter in his career. Look, and then by the time he got to Aston Villa, he wasn't the same player. Sure, there are flashes, moments when the old magic returned, but they were fleeting. And let's be real, Villa wasn't Barca or Liverpool. The pressure was different. The ambitions were more modest. He was never going to become a Ballon d'Or contender from there. When Gerrard was sacked, Coutinho's support system disappeared with him. But look, here's the thing about Coutinho. He never stopped trying. Lesser players might have checked out after those setbacks, content to collect their wages and that's it, and then obviously fade away quietly. Coutinho didn't do that. Even in Qatar, where he could have coasted, he worked hard, stayed fit and gave his all. You can say what you want about his decisions, but his professionalism had never been in question. And look, obviously now he's back in his home nation of Brazil with Vasco da Gama. There's a different kind of narrative unfolding. He's no longer the young prodigy or the mega signing. He's a seasoned veteran, back where it all began, wearing the same shirt he dreamed of as a boy. And in a way, it's beautiful. He's playing without the weight of the world on his shoulders, inspiring the next generation, and rediscovering what made him fall in love with football in the first place. I always find that it's sort of funny. When we talk about players like Coutinho, we often focus on what they didn't achieve. We compare them to Messi, Ronaldo or Salah and say he didn't live up to his potential. But maybe that's unfair. How many players get to score in a World Cup, win league titles in Spain and Germany, lift a Champions League trophy, even if it was part of a loan, and wear the shirt of some of the biggest clubs in the world, Liverpool, Barca, Bayern and Aston Villa, depending on who you ask. That's not failure in my opinion. That's a career most players would kill for. Sure, it didn't go all the way we all imagined after that dazzling period at Liverpool. But football isn't a movie script. There's no guarantees of a happy ending. Sometimes things just don't click. And that's okay. Coutinho's story might not be the one we all predicted, but it's still a story worth telling all the same. Even now, as I said before, you watch him at Vasco and there are moments where the old spark is still there. The quick feet, the clever little passes, the sudden burst of acceleration to leave a defender flat-footed. It's not as consistent as it once was, let's not get it wrong. Age and injuries have taken their toll on him. But it's enough to remind you why he was once considered one of the best in the world and why Barcelona paid such a hefty fee for him. But maybe that is the lesson here. We're so obsessed with players hitting their peak and staying there forever that we forget how hard it is to just make it to the top in the first place. Coutinho did do that. For a few glorious years, he was world class. Then came the challenges, the setbacks, the doubters, but through it all, he kept going and he kept working. And now as he winds down his career in Brazil, he's doing it on his own terms. And there's something poetic about that, isn't there? A kid who left Rio full of dreams, conquered Europe, and then came home. Not as the superstar everyone expected, but as a wiser, more grounded version of himself. Maybe this story isn't about what he didn't achieve. Maybe it's about the journey, the resilience, and the way he kept getting back up no matter how many times he was knocked down. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes Coutinho's story relatable. He's not Messi or Ronaldo. He's not a once in a generation phenomenon. He's human. He struggled. He doubted himself. He lost his way. And yet he still found a way to keep moving forward. As fans, we should appreciate that not every player's legacy is defined by records and trophies. Sometimes it's defined by their moments of brilliance, their perseverance, and the joy they gave us when they were at their best. Coutinho gave us plenty of those moments, and even now, all these years later, I still find myself smiling when I see a clip of him curling one into the top corner. What did happen to Coutinho? Life happened, football happened, and at the end of the day, maybe that's enough. I'm sorry, it's not the best ending I could have came up with, but I think it's the way we should put it. Life. He lived out his glory years, he got older, he had injuries while getting older, and now he's returned to find his level in Brazil, at home with his family. To be honest, I think it's perfect. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Good luck and God bless. See you in the next one.